is good, everybody? My Paper Moon fam. It's your boy, PaperSIn, back with another reaction video. This one is called The Gradual Decline of Gen Z's Social Skills. Does that mean they're becoming almost like an introvert? Well, as an introvert myself, if any Gen Z happen to become introverts, I welcome you to the circle of introverts. Stay over there, and I'm gonna stay over here. We're good. Anyway, let's go check it out, see what's up with this gradual decline of their social skills. Oh, and this is this video is by the YouTube channel Gen, just Gen. Okay, cool.
Do you think Gen Z is soft?
I think they're very, very, very soft.
We spend less time outside.
They've been born almost in front of a computer.
We're always trying to blame other things rather than blaming ourselves.
Why do you think everyone makes fun of Gen Z?
You know, you can see on the old movies we had manners and everything.
TikTok is a daredevil. Our brains are dying.
So today I'm out here and the question I'm asking is, are Gen Z social skills declining?
I teach school and I see the declining. No respect for adults.
Wouldn't you say that's like most middle schoolers though?
No, that's high school and that's a whole generation that's coming up now. No one cares about anybody.
I work for a college. I interact with Gen Z students constantly. I think they're incredibly thoughtful. I think they're incredibly put together. Some of the critiques of Gen Z are actually older generations projecting their own flaws onto the younger folks.
To really characterize it in a more general sense, they're more self-centered. To have social skills, to be gracious, to have poise, and to see the other side, you know, from the other point of view. I think that's really gone downhill.
We spend less time outside. We spend less time talking to other people.
How old are you, by the way?
17.
Definitely Gen Z. How do you define social skills and why is it important?
To talk to people, to maintain conversations.
Get girls.
Get girls, yeah.
That's a social skill right there. Yeah, right there. That's a good one.
That's what good social skills can get you.
Yes, exactly.
They're good at socializing in social media. They are like more shy in real life, but I don't think that counts as bad.
If I look at my son who's
I don't know about
18,
shy.
his interaction with people is related to games more than anything else.
You think he was farther behind in social skills than when you were at 18?
Yes, they've been, as I said, in front of computers and cell phones and whatever all their life.
They get their feelings hurt really easy. So if they go on social media and they post something, you don't get likes, they get their feelings hurt. So now they just isolate themselves. They go on TikTok and that's much easier.
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of like online communities, and now obviously with social media, right, you're actually able to probably meet people all around the world that you couldn't. Isn't that also like a form of communication?
Yeah, but there's nothing like face-to-face. If everything becomes virtual, where are we heading?
Because nowadays it feels like everyone's blaming Gen Z for all their problems.
Those people who are 26 and younger tend to be the most challenging to work with.
Well, I mean, to be fair, when other people were kids, you know what I'm saying, they were being blamed for the problem for the adults' problems, like what he said, huh? Yeah, everybody's blaming Gen Z. So to be fair, when like millennials were kids, everybody was blaming millennials for their problems. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that.
Generation of all time.
A lack of effort and a lack of motivation.
And despite being more connected, we're also lonelier than ever.
Tonight, I'm extra lonely.
The younger you are, the lonelier you might be.
But even though social
Lonely
media is
or
always
alone?
mentioned as the root of all evil, I knew that was just the surface. And as someone on the cusp of Gen Z and millennial, I wanted to explore from both sides whether Gen Z deserves to be called the worst generation ever. And so is Gen Z really losing social skills, or are we witnessing a redefinition of social interaction? And is all this hate on Gen Z just older generations' fear of being left behind? I guess we gon' see. Do you think Gen Z takes less or more risks compared to your generation?
Why would you want to be an adult earlier in the sense of have a family and stuff? I don't begrudge people in their 20s and early 30s who want to enjoy life. But you have to understand that's a luxury that you have. It's a luxury my parents and their generation did not have.
Probably more risk. You know, there's so many opportunities right now, so many things that they can look at as far as jobs are concerned, as far as travel is concerned.
I'd say less because we're less outside. We don't have as much opportunities to mess up.
What do you mean by that? Less opportunities to mess up?
If you're more inside, right, you won't jump on a shopping cart and do weird stuff on a shopping cart because you're in your house, you're in your bed on your phone, right?
Damn it, Gen Z, you're not helping helping your case.
I
So now I want to
mean-
challenge the older generations to at least view Gen Z from a different lens.
What unique challenges do you think Gen Z faces that your generation did not?
I think life as a young person is more difficult. The pressures on life, and even with all the technology around you, it has not made your actual life easier.
They've been born almost in front of a computer. They're not used to physical work. That's a big issue.
All right, well, again, to be fair, like, they did have to go through, you know, the whole COVID thing and being forced to stay indoors while they were still kids. Well, kid-ish, I guess. But like, so they couldn't really, that further stunted their ability to go out and talk with others, interact with others. And other than just being born in front of computers, like, it's also on the parents' fault, because the parents would just raise their kids by handing them an iPad and letting them just watch that the entire time, and so that they would like be quiet, or, you know what I'm saying, do whatever, while the parent went and did something else. They didn't actually pay attention to what their kid was watching. They still don't pay attention to what their kids are watching. They don't really, you know, they don't. Even the parents don't interact with their own kids. They just hand them a screen and say, "Here, go do this while I go do this other thing." So, I mean, it's also on the parents' fault. You know what I'm saying? It's not just Gen Z being Gen Z. You gotta blame the parents as well. You know what I'm saying? So let's who else?
COVID, it's made people weary of people, and so they face the isolation.
So do you think that Gen Z is living in more of a environment of distrust compared to previous generations?
Absolutely.
And the pandemic of the last 3 years is a better case study than anything of the unique challenge encountered by a rising generation.
Fast-breaking developments in the coronavirus emergency in the U.S.
Stay at home, that is the order tonight.
This is a global pandemic. Stay home.
The disruptions to daily routines during their formative years resulted in 72% of U.S. teens reporting increased loneliness and had a profound impact on the social skills of Gen Z.
Real quick, as an introvert, when the COVID started and people were being told to stay home, that was like, God, that was heaven for me. I was like, yes, I get to stay home. Yes, that's what I'm used to doing, and now I'm being told I have to do it. Oh, thank you.
I remember crying every night and not knowing what was going on, and I felt so alone.
Remote work and online classes severely limited the opportunity to develop skills like teamwork, as group work became less accessible. And as social isolation limited access to social networks known to be coping mechanisms of stress and anxiety, Gen Z was in higher risk for burnout and further seclusion.
Why am I having so many mental breakdowns? Online school is giving me more stress than regular school did.
But on the other hand, it also led to more opportunities to take initiative. During the pandemic, the youth witnessed a political awakening, utilizing social media to address issues like BLM. And as a result, youth voter turnout increased by 8% compared to 2016.
Voters under 30 have shown increased participation in the last few elections.
Young voters turned out in historic numbers.
And with more time alone, Gen Z also took initiative by using platforms like TikTok to launch careers by reaching millions around the world in minutes.
That shit was
And
cringe.
so despite evidence of social decline, there was a simultaneous rise in digital extrovertedness. As lives shifted more online, there was less face-to-face interactions. But are Gen Z spending way too much time on phones instead of real life?
How many hours a day do you spend on your phone?
I think like 10 hours.
Too much, like 5 hours maybe.
So 3 hours and 21 minutes, okay.
5:32.
What do you think will be like a healthy amount of like screen time for anyone?
Less than like 7.
8 hours is like a full-time job.
As long as you're not like obsessed with it, you'll be fine.
Okay. Could you go a week without your phone?
Yes, I definitely could.
And so whether it's good or bad, the prevailing trend is towards an increasingly digital world. And for those seeking what's next in their journey of fulfillment instead of what's next on TikTok, but thanks to our sponsor Skillshare, no goal is too small when they take you step by step.
Great,
When I
more
started
screens
this
to
channel
help
3
you.
years ago, I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. But I knew that learning how to edit was crucial to kickstart my creative career. And after wasting hours searching for the best resource, I found what I needed with Skillshare. I discovered this editing class on how to edit on Adobe Premiere Pro and finished it in 2 weeks with Jordy leading me along the way. And fast forward today, and one of the most frequent comments that I get on all my videos is about my editing. But still, not a lot of you may know this, but I'm still not able to do YouTube full time. And so this year, my focus is on taking the business to the next level and diversifying my income by learning the necessary skills to launch and create a successful merch drop. So join me in achieving your goals and be one of the first 1,000 people to join using my special link in description and get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. And so with that, I want to explore further on the impact of these challenges on Gen Z. Have these challenges
Actually, at least, I mean, Skillshare is at least cheaper than having to go to college for some of the same things. But also, like, the things that you learn on Skillshare, you could probably find YouTube videos and learn about that same, learn how to do that same skill, but for free. So I don't know about Skillshare, but I probably shouldn't say too much in case they ever want to sponsor me in the future. It's not like they'll see this video anyway. Like, I'm only at like 100 subscribers. Shout out to y'all. 100 subscribers. I feel you. Let's go.
Molded resiliency, or has it nurtured a sense of being sheltered?
Do you think Gen Z is soft compared to previous generations?
I'll be diplomatic. I'll say perhaps.
I think they're very, very, very soft.
Yes.
I just feel like because of social media, there's so much more easier things to get your dopamine rush rather than like working towards getting your own dopamine rush.
Why do you think everyone makes fun of Gen Z?
Do we make fun of them or are we disgusted with them?
Our humor is kind of
A little bit of comedy, a little comedy.
Kind of.
Well, I wouldn't say cringe, but it is weird. After like, it's easy also to like to point the finger on someone else and say, oh, you're weird and everything.
I think we do because I think it's an ego thing. I think we want to leave a legacy. We want to say, oh, I was part of that created the cars. Or I was that created AI. They say the hardest things is to recognize somebody who's doing better than you.
Maybe they're resentful that they're getting older. I think people just genuinely like to pretend that they were smarter and more thoughtful and more well-rounded when they were a younger person.
You know, you can see on the old movement we had manners and everything. We're in a very polarized, forget about politics, culturally.
We like care a lot more about more stuff like racism and sexism, and boomers are not like open to a lot of those conversations. There's a lot of things in the past that haven't been discussed enough.
For example, the topic of mental health probably wasn't as talked as much in previous generation, but you guys actually handled that, I think, in a better way, or at least it's more out in the open.
Before, there was so many taboos that like cause insecurities and fears in people, and that's important to talk about.
And with 13% of US teens experiencing major depressive episodes and unaliving being the second leading cause of death among teens, there's a clear mental health crisis.
They're just soft.
We see rates of depression and anxiety and suicide going up among young people.
That's because they're soft. They are soft. Like, hear me out. Because their parents use screens to raise them, because of the pandemic that happened, and because of the creation of quote unquote safe space and stuff like that, they did not have to go through the same things as like, well, they didn't have to deal with as much bullying, and their parents weren't allowed to like spank them for their bad behavior, which allowed and parents let them act out more, and so they became soft because they didn't grow up being able to handle any hardships or any pain, or like getting bullied, or like taking a beating from your parent because you were acting up and doing shit you shouldn't have been doing and being troublesome. Like, so all those things that combine, I'm probably missing a few, but all those things that combine makes them very soft. And so when they actually do start dealing with any kind of hardships, the rate of that increased rate of self-deletion and depression and all this other stuff comes into play. And now they're just kind of like, you know, not able to handle anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, like, fucking, like, parents, raise your children. Stop putting screens in front of their face, hoping that they just learn from that, or having the screens watch your kid while you go do whatever. Interact with your child, teach them what's right from wrong, things like that. You know what I'm saying? talk to them, let them know what's going on with whatever is going on, and just be like, this is how you should probably handle that if you ever have to do with that. Like, teach them those things instead of just letting screens raise them, and maybe your kid won't be so soft. And take a belt to their ass if you need to, if they're acting up. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Has almost become normalized.
But compared to older generations, Gen Z is a lot more proactive. As reported, 37% of Gen Z has sought help from mental health professionals and contributed 42% of all spending on mental health treatment.
Last year, Sydney started a mental health support group for students at her school.
I've done a little bit of EMDR and it's been amazing.
And in line with the preference towards digital options, Gen Z has a 50% higher usage of online therapy apps and even AI. In 2020, the first fully therapeutic AI chatbot, Wobot, was created to provide accessible care to individuals at any time.
Or robot.
Meet Wobot, the friendly little bot who's ready to listen.
So
24/7.
But this exact accessibility also highlighted the concern.
So, Doc, do you think this is a good idea?
It certainly can help people who are already in therapy. It's certainly not meant to replace it.
The free nature of the service led
Of course she thinks it's a good idea. She makes money from that shit, from that kind of thing.
Self-diagnosis and even the application of its strategies to relatives with more severe disorders. And so with all that said, why is Gen Z the most depressed generation? Because at first glance, the best advice for anxiety caused by technological isolation or stress from current events is to just close your damn laptop, bro. Considering 91% of Gen Z's main source of stress is related to money, work, and housing, it becomes evident that what used to be more accessible in the past is certainly becoming unattainable. So while older generations may perceive that Gen Z have it easier, it's important to acknowledge that every generation faces its own unique and relatable challenges. And so with all the talk around social media's impacts, it's worth questioning its validity as the root of all evil.
Kind of like the common rhetoric around Gen Z is that you guys are soft. Do you think social media has had an impact on that?
With social media, like if it's not around the same opinion of the norm, people get mad and people get pissed and they...
How are you with handling like disagreements or like opposite views?
If there's something that truly like bothers me, I guess I'll think about it and see it. Well, is that really an issue with me? If I'm not, then I'm not, and it's like, is there a problem, you know?
Do you think we blame social media too much on problems?
People are so addicted to these things, but they don't actually control their own life. Social media almost does. And so that's why, like, you know, people are softer than ever before today.
I mean, all of us like to be the victim, kind of, you know? We're always trying to blame other things rather than blaming ourselves.
Yeah, because we can go and talk to people if we want.
But of course, there are incentives in life. And if you never had the choice of really interacting with people online, then you would be forced to go out into the real world and try to make meaningful connections. But of course, it's not like a simple equation. There's also multiple factors.
And with Gen Z spending over 5 hours a day in front of screens, they're addicted. But is it accurate to blame technology for declining social skills? On one hand, research has indicated physical effects such as brain shrinkage due to excessive use, which can make information processing more challenging.
Social media use is not harmless. It can actually have a significant negative impact. This can permanently reduce your capacity for concentration.
So it's probably why scrolling on TikTok all day instead of watching my videos is why you're so damn stupid. But looking at the other side, research shows that apart from children who excessively game and go on social media, there is no evidence suggesting poorer face-to-face social skills when compared to children with limited screen exposure. And along those lines, to also consider that sociability is only one aspect of a person's development, and that abilities like resilience and self-awareness are just as important. And especially when we even consider anomalies like Amber Yang, who even surpassed NASA's models for creating an AI program for satellite safety, it serves as evidence that a digital first generation has even greater potential for innovation. And so it's clear that it's not as easy as technology equals bad, because on one hand, technology has empowered Gen Z to communicate without limitations, and on the other hand, that very same technology has isolated them and hindered human contact essential for experiencing empathy, belonging, and love. And as our society continues to embrace the metaverse and AI, the world is only going to become more digital. And so should our definition of social skills be limited to physical interactions, or should our perception of community be reimagined?
I think perception of community. I think people need a healthy dose, maybe a healthy dose of both. Like a little bit column A, a little bit of column B. people still need to get out, interact with others, build up that social skills. That way, when they are working with others, they can work with them well. But also, like that one chick who's AI thing for her program or whatever is surpassed current current scientists or whatever. Like, shout out to her for being able to do that. So like you said, you know, it's not just that it's straight up just negative. There can be some benefits, even if it's a little more difficult to find. So that can be helpful, but also being in front of other people and talking to them can be helpful. Unless you're an introvert like me, like then you might want to stay away from other people. But as long as you're not like just always in front of a screen, you know what I'm saying? Go do others, like do something, read a book or something. But as far as long when it comes to like more depression and stuff like that, it also has to do with like, just scrolling, not just scrolling on TikTok, but also with like Instagram and things like that. All the filters they can use to attach themselves, to make themselves look like different things, or to enhance their what they actually look like, or what they think enhances what they actually look like. They get depressed because when they actually look in the mirror in the real world, they don't see the same person they saw when they had the filter on. And that kind of kind of does damage to their perception of themselves. And so people go out and get like Botox or surgery or plastic surgery to try and fix that shit. And that's not, helpful. And if it doesn't come out exactly how it was, or it damages them, and their depression continues. And also, it's just like they can't just stay off the screens. It's like, you know what I'm saying? That is why people with TikToks, people that use like a little Subway Surfer game next to another video just to make sure they get tons of views, because it keeps their attention or longer than just a normal video, like of somebody talking. So of course they keep scrolling and scrolling. They see something like that, it holds their attention a little longer, and then they keep scrolling and scrolling. And it's got the infinite scrolling as well, so that doesn't help. And then these other apps or websites are adapting that same thing because they see it's working for TikTok, and of course they want the viewers' attention as well. And since that's where things are headed, they implement the same type of thing. Facebook Reels, you scroll. YouTube Shorts, scroll. Instagram has its own thing. I think I don't fucking remember what it's called. I'm not like on Instagram like that. But yeah, so anyway, like, I don't know, man. There's still like a couple 7 minutes ish to this video. So if you want to see the rest of it, go ahead and check it out. Link to the video will be in the description below, as well as the link to this channel. So let me know what you think is up with Gen Z, you know what I'm saying? And your thoughts on their social skills declining, or their depression, or anything about Gen Z. And are you part of Gen Z? So if you are part of Gen Z, then what, you know what I'm saying? If you're part of Gen Z and you lasted this long to this video without having a Subway Surfer video attached to it, or like some gameplay in the background so you can focus on that or to keep your attention, I mean, congrats to you, you know what I'm saying? But let me know what you think about your peers. But yeah, anyway, be sure to check out Gen, Gen, their YouTube channel. Link will be in the description below. And while you're there, go ahead and do those 3 things I like to ask you to do, and like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And also go ahead and let me know what you think. Like, if I ever had the chance to, like, voice act a character for a YouTube video, a character that kind of looked like Stitch, or like any random character, you know what I'm saying? Do you think I can pull it off? I don't know. I mean, let me know. I like that because, you know, Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. Yeah. Anyway, you know what it is after that, in case I don't see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace and much love to you.